Hey everyone, today I would like to discuss a topic that I believe that is majorly overlooked in relation to chronic diseases, especially as a cause and a major contributor to the progression of chronic diseases, and that is relationship and work-related burnout. And many of you, I know, can relate to that. So many people experience a burnout as expressed as anxiety and episodes of depression on a regular basis. And these can be quite intense, but most of all, there is exhaustion and fatigue and the feeling that we cannot give any more any longer. And although I teach the 3 basic principles that are at the core of chronic diseases and that we need to understand and that we need to do something about to reverse the progression of chronic disease or reverse it at all when we can repair all non-permanent damage, I absolutely believe that the equanimity principle, so the balanced mind and resilience to whatever happens in our environment, is the most important of the 3. And that comes down to our inner peace and the feeling that we are enough and the feeling that we have the room to live, the space to live, the freedom to live, instead of burnout feelings that is the opposite of that. Exhaustion, fatigue, not having the feeling of giving ourselves priority, doing the things we love, enjoying life, having time to live, having time for ourselves, for the people that we love, having time for the things that we love to do, having time for our bigger purpose, having time for our creativity. Those things that are so important for our own being and for our health, for our mental health, for our physical health, they are so lacking when we experience a burnout. Now, there are many reasons why we can experience negative feelings like burnout, like anxiety, like depression. There are many causes, of course. Chronic disease in itself is a cause for anxiety and depression called chronic disease distress, but also some medications, or for instance, antibiotics that are creating an imbalance in the microbiome. And this imbalance and inflammation has a direct route to our brain. And when neuroinflammation starts, then that can also cause feelings of depression and anxiety and fatigue and exhaustion. And of course, behavioral things like drinking alcohol or smoking or pro-inflammatory foods can create this imbalance. So other medications, there are so many reasons why neuroinflammation can start or can persist, that we get those feelings of anxiety and depression. But a big chunk of reason why these negative feelings exist have to do with psychosocial factors. Adverse events, especially when they happened in childhood and they are never properly processed, so they get back to us when we see similar situations, subconsciously or consciously, or adverse events that happened during our adulthood that were huge. So we know that these events have an impact on our health later on in life, and can be one of the reasons that chronic diseases start. But looking in our day-to-day life, there are also psychosocial factors that are stressing us out right this moment, because those factors are in this moment. And that is what I would like to discuss right now. So that was the bigger picture. So, there is a whole world. If you did not already know, then it's just a reminder. But for now, I would like to focus on the here and now and the stressors that are present in our day because of the relationships we have and the work that we have, our work environment. So what we experience every day. And when that is too exhausting for us, we call it a burnout. And that has major impact on our well-being, our mental health, our physical health, but also our joy in life, our creativity, and fulfilling our purpose. So it is of utmost importance that we understand how we can resolve burnout or prevent it from happening. So let's start. The negative feelings that we day to day feel in our social environment, like in our relationships or at the workplace, they're usually because we feel a gap between who we really are and how we behave in these relationships or at the workplace. Because we have a feeling on how it should be, or we have a belief of how it should be, even when those rules are unwritten, but it's a culture or a way of enacting with each other that we've grown into. But those beliefs are not truly ours. And when we cannot live up to those measures, even when these are, imaginary measures, it is impossible to live up to. But when we keep trying to live up to that day in and day out, it is exhausting. And the joy that we once knew in this relationship or in this work, that fades because of the exhaustion and the fatigue and the feeling, and that is most essential, of not being good enough as we are, because we cannot live up to it. So we feel that we are not good enough. We believe that we should be able to live up to it, but we can't. Nobody can. But that is the essence of our negative feelings. And it can be any negative feeling. It doesn't matter. It matters that it is recurring. And it absolutely matters when the intensity increases. That is a huge signal for yourself that something is going off right now, especially for yourself. There's something going off in this relationship with you and somebody else. There's something off in the relationship with yourself and the work that you do, maybe your purpose or your dedication, the goals that you want to achieve. In those relationships, something is off, but ultimately something inside yourself is not okay, because you cannot live up to something that is not truly yours. And you feel that as self-doubt, as insecure about decisions, about very conscious of what other people's opinions are about what you do, how you behave, maybe even about your appearance or what you're wearing. You doubt yourself if you're doing the right thing, ultimately. So And that is because there are a lot of should be's, consciously, but also subconsciously, because a lot of those should be's are cultural, or you've grown into that together with somebody else or with a group of people within your family, within the workplace, those should be's. And when their should be's are not truly yours, they are not your own beliefs, you feel that as a discord, as an unalignment, because you do not truly believe in it and it doesn't feel right deep down inside. And that is the contrast, what is coming to the surface. And that is costing so much energy that fatigue starts and ultimately exhaustion. Now, there are a lot of those ideas that may not be originally yours, but originally from your parents or your family or this company or the workplace that you're in, and that you're fully fine with, that you are okay with. Maybe they are almost as your own beliefs, or you never thought about it and you just think they're really okay. Of course, that's no problem. There are those things, those elements that you believe that you have to live up to, but you truly don't believe them. Because then there is a unalignment between who you really are and what you're trying to live up to. And that is the stress we feel. And we express this stress in so many ways. We can hardly typify them. Some people withdraw and close themselves off socially. Other people reflect their inner wounds to other people at the workplace, to the people they love. All types of stress. When you're feeling exhausted and tired, and you have the feeling that you have a lack of freedom, that you have a lack of creativity, then these are absolutely signs of burnout. Now, what can you do about it? First of all, becoming aware is a big step, because when you become aware, you can do something about it. And it may be a very good point where you seek for professional help. There's also a lot of inner work that you can do. And I truly believe that is something that you can always do. And that is, in any case, very important, because these stresses are blocking the fulfillment of your desires in life. They are blocking your joy. They're also blocking your creativity. They are blocking your connection. And because of that, they are blocking well-being, mental well-being, and ultimately as well, physical well-being. And those, of course, go hand in hand. So this inner work is really important. And it may be that there is a huge turnaround or pivotal point for you when you can see that you have to live up to something that you do not believe in yourself, that you truly do not believe in, that are not your values. This is not within your purpose, within your fairness or your joy. Simply not. And if you can see that, that is a pivotal point, because then you can do something about it by realizing, hey, What is it that I truly believe in? What are my true values? What is it truly that I want to live up to? So that is number one. That is the number one of inner work. Realizing that where you want to live up to, who do you want to be? What behavior is in alignment with who you want to be, how you want to show yourself, how you want to show up in your relationship, how you want to show up at work from your inner truth, not how you think that you should show up because there is a culture in the company or there are unwritten rules that you should live up to, also within your relationship. What is important to you? Who do you want to be in your relationship? What kind of partner do you want to be? What kind of friend do you want to be? What kind of parent do you want to be? And that is what is true to you. And that is number one of inner work. And realizing that is absolutely a pivotal point because it is for everyone. And maybe we have to take the time to think about that, how we want to show up, how we want to be, and how that person looks like. Because that is who we are. And when we can be who we are, that is the freedom, because we do not have to live up to anything. We do not have the feeling of, am I good enough? No, I am good as I am because this is who I am. It feels right to be who I am because everybody feels right when they can be who they are really, who they really are. Secondly, that we should also not beat up ourselves when reality shows that at this point we are not showing up as the one that we want to be, that we are not showing up as the person that we truly are, because there's a path. There's a path of where we are right now and where we are going. We cannot just wipe out what we've grown into, what we are living. We cannot wipe out the environment. We cannot wipe out how we are and how we do things. We cannot wipe out our habits. So there is a beautiful North Star that we can see for ourselves, how we want to show up. And there is a beautiful path towards that point. And when we realize every time that we feel this discord in ourselves, hey, I feel this resistance because I am not there, but I know where I'm going. I'm not feeling this discord because I think that I should behave or that I should live up to whatever that is. I feel this discord because it's a signal from my inner being that I'm not who I really are at this moment. But I know where I can go. I know where I want to be. So this is just a signal to go on my path again, to redirect the course of my thoughts, the course of my feelings, and the course of my actions towards my North Star, towards the real me, towards the one that I truly am, the way that I show up in my relationship, the way that I show up at my workplace. These are the two most important elements, because this is the real inner work. Then there are two more things that can really ease it a little bit, because when others are around, there is judgment always, no matter what. There can be positive judgment, there can be negative judgment, but judgment there is. Now, our life would be so much easier and so much more without stressful feelings, without disalignment, if we could just leave judgments behind. Sometimes judgments can be helpful, but before we can discern whether a judgment is helpful or just bringing negative feelings, just skip them altogether, because that is a big exercise in itself. Just be unemotional about what other people's opinions are, because they can never be right. They cannot be you. They do not have your perspective. First of all, most of the time, other people's judgments are more about themselves, because that is their world. Research shows that we can even read in between the lines of the written or the spoken words of people how their mental well-being is. So we can also recognize that with ourselves, right? That's another hack. But now about those other people, they say things, they express things in a way that is more congruent with their own world than with your world. So it tells more about what they are experiencing, or their negative feelings or their positive feelings, than that it is about you. Secondly, they could never judge your behavior, your decisions, or doing the right thing or not the right thing, because they do not have your goals. They do not have your wisdom. They do not have your experience. They do not have your background. They do not have your truth. So what does it matter? It can be very nice when people approve of us. It can be very nice when we get a compliment. But that's it. It's just nice. But there's nothing serious going on, with no judgment. Your own truth is serious, and the rest is just not. So, last thing, when we become conscious of what is going right, if you become conscious every day how you live your truth, even if you do not change anything, but just realizing that part of you is already living your truth, that part of you is already behaving like you want yourself to behave, that part of you is already interacting with the people you love the way that you believe is right, that part of you is doing things at the workplace that are right to you. When you realize that, you're building confidence. You're building confidence in yourself, trust in yourself, that there's already a lot that you're doing very good, very right. But it's only human to focus on those things that are, in your opinion, not right, or not living up to the standards, or you focus on the judgments or the critics or your inner critic. And it's only human to have a focus on that part. Well, I'm suggesting right now that it is a very healthy exercise every day to become very conscious and very aware of all the things that are going right. And maybe even be thankful for it, grateful for it, everything that is going right. Because when you really would take a blank sheet of paper and write down everything that is going right, you realize it's a lot, because it is for everyone. And we can also make such a list of the things that are not going right, true. But energy flows where attention goes. And that's the trick here. So now we want to have this energy flowing towards the person that you want to see in yourself, the one you want to show up like for other people, in the workplace. If you give that attention, that grows. So if you start to behave and realize that you behave, that you are showing up as the person you want to show up like, then it becomes a reality. That's a given because you are forming habits. New neurons will form in your brain and you will create new habits when you constantly remind yourself of the person you want to be, when you constantly appreciate yourself for the things that you do right, for the things that are going right, when there is appreciation for yourself, for the right decisions that you make, for the behavior that you have, for the upbeat feelings that you have in between negative feelings. If we focus on those, then that will grow. So these are the 4 hacks that you can do yourself for inner work. And I hope that that will help you. It makes such a major difference in your day, in the joy in your day, in the flow of your day, in the creativity in your day, the clarity in your day, how you show up for yourself. It makes such a difference for your self-confidence. It makes such a difference how you can be there for other people, for the ones you love, for your mental health, for your physical health, for the degree how you can reverse chronic diseases. So I hope this helps. And if you want to take it a step further, just think about considering a 90-minute workshop where we can go a little bit more in depth in the causes of chronic disease and how to reverse it. And equanimity, yeah, that's one of it. Like this one. I really wish you equanimity. So see you next time.